Now available in paperback and Kindle Unlimited. The Man Crisis. Learn why so many men are struggling to find their way in an increasingly gynocentric world in The Man Crisis. Get your copy of The Man Crisis in paperback and Kindle Unlimited today. 3 students were killed and 5 were injured in a mass shooting that took place at Michigan State University. Now, according to reports, 43-year-old Anthony McRae allegedly went to the Michigan State University campus, walked into an academic building, and allegedly opened fire at the student union, taking the lives of 3 students and wounding 5 others before fleeing the scene and taking his life in a self-inflicted gunshot wound off campus. Now, the police are seeing this as another isolated incident in the series of mass shootings that have taken place all across America for the last couple of decades. But when I take a critical examination of the behavior of 43-year-old Anthony McRae, it fits the pattern and profile for beta males that I talk about in my book, The Man Crisis. And it's clear to me that Anthony McRae was a man in crisis for an extended period of time, and I believe what led to Anthony McRae becoming a man in crisis was his extremely close attachment to his mother. Now, when it comes down to many beta males, they have an extremely close attachment to their mother, and instead of them having an interdependent relationship with their mother, where there are healthy boundaries, what these men have is a codependent relationship where they are looking for the mother to meet all of their needs, and they are looking for that mother to be the center of their world. And according to the father of Anthony McRae, he says that his son wound up becoming extremely different when his mother, Linda McRae, wound up losing her life after getting a stroke on September 13th, 2020, and he says that his son's whole demeanor and outlook on life completely changed. And that really happens a lot to a lot of beta males, because for a beta male, his mother is the center of his world, and because of his extremely close relationship with his mother, he winds up with his entire world falling completely apart, because the main reason for the beta male son to live is to take care of his mother, and without his mother there, he has nobody there to support, and without anybody there to support, what this man does is he falls completely apart. And according to his father, Michael McRae, he says that his wife was like a sister to him, and that's a very unhealthy relationship, because a mother should be an authority figure. A mother should be somebody that there is some distance between a son and a mother. Unfortunately, there was no distance between this mama's boy and his mother, and sadly, Michael McRae, the father, didn't do enough to cut the boy's apron strings, and because the boy's apron strings did not get cut, he wound up falling completely apart as a result of having a too close bond with his mother. And I believe it was that too close bond with his mother that led to him becoming bitter, and he wound up, I believe, becoming bitter and angry because he was angry that his mother was no longer alive, and I believe that he was basically angry at God for taking the life of his mother, because there was nobody there to talk to him and tell him that everybody has to die in this world, and everybody is going to pass at one point, and there's going to become a point where a man has to realize that his mother is no longer going to be there. And this is something I've seen Ringo and Mr. Superboy talk about. And yes, that's a very painful feeling, because you feel like you're completely alone at this point. This is what Ringo has said as related to the passing of his mother. And it's at that point you have to have the discipline and resolve to go out here and stand up like a man. And sadly, as Michael McRae was grieving, he didn't get that discipline and resolve, And as a result of him not being able to let go of his mother and understand that she's going to be with the Most High, no, he was just caught up with her staying in the world with him. And the fact that she was gone made him extremely bitter. And this is what made him become extremely bitter and angry. And he started to get what his father said, becoming evil and mean. And he didn't care about anything anymore. And again, this is quite troubling, because here is the man who was married to this woman for 45 years. And he had more resolve, sadly, than his son, because he was not, even though he was close to his wife, he definitely had boundaries as related to the woman that he loved. And he understood that in order to truly love someone, you have to let them go, because once they leave this world, they are with the Most High God. And with them being with the Most High God, you have to understand that they are in a better place. And his mom is in a much better place, because even with a stroke, she's dealing with the complete change of her body and not being able to function. And now that she is with the Most High, she is completely healed in spirit. This is what, sadly, Michael McRae didn't understand, because he didn't understand that in life there is death, and in life there is death. And again, you grieve people, but you also want to honor those people by going out here and living the best life you can possibly can. Now, I myself have lost a father and I have lost a sister, but I understand that they are with the Most High and in a better place. And with them being with the Most High in a better place, I want to honor their memory. And this is something many beta males don't understand. They don't understand that you do have something to live for, and that is honoring the memory of those that you love. And sadly, nobody could help Michael McRae, because he was again caught up in the world of living for his mother. And this is what led to him giving up on life. He quit his job at a warehouse where he was working, loading refrigerators into delivery trucks, and began staying in his room playing video games. He had basically fallen completely apart, and his father was trying to help him get some help, because he had gone from a man who was living with his parents and going out here to work back and forth, and he had gone to become a recluse. And the father wanted to try to talk to him and try to help him, but he said he didn't need help, because a lot of beta males, they don't want to go out here and seek out help, because they feel like getting help from a man is not a good thing, because they never learned to submit to male authority figures and seek out help. And the father tried to help him, but sadly could not help him in this situation. And that is the saddest part about this. The father was trying his best, and he was trying to encourage his son to go out here and seek help for himself and try to go out here and try to move on. But sadly, Anthony McRae couldn't move on, because the world that he built around his mother was destroyed. And because the world around his mother was gone, he wanted to destroy the world around him, because he felt his only reason for living, his mother, was no longer here. So he felt like he had no more reason for living. Now, it's alleged that his father was trying to again help him move on, and he tried to help him go out here and try to apply for more jobs. And it's alleged that as Michael McRae was trying to help his son, what happened was that he possibly had a grudge against this university. That's why Michael McRae is saying that, Anthony McRae possibly targeted that school for that mass shooting. It could have been that he was frustrated about being able to go out and be on his own, and frustrated that he possibly was rejected for a job there. That's one possible reason. But the whole issue is that Anthony McRae had issues for an extended period of time. I mean, he had bought, before his own mother passed away, he had bought a gun. And again, the father didn't understand why the son needed a gun. He told him that he didn't want any guns in his home, but this beta male possibly wanted this gun because he was feeling powerless, because his mother was possibly sick. And a lot of times when you're dealing with beta males, they feel powerless, and the first thing they do is go get a weapon. and they go get a weapon because they feel powerless. And again, this was a son who had no history of violence, but he wound up becoming violent because his entire reason for living was gone. His entire person that he built his world around was gone, and that's what made him go from being a reliable, friendly beta male to simmering and boiling in anger, to then eventually winding up exploding in a rage, where he wound up taking the lives of 3 innocent Michigan State University students and forever changing the lives of 5 others and thousands of those around them. And you'll have politicians after this shooting want to come out here and say that it's gun control that we need in order to stop mass shooters like this. But again, when I look at Anthony McRae, he bought his gun legally, and that's one of the problems that destroys the entire argument about gun control, because when you're dealing with this whole issue, it's not a gun issue, and it's an issue of the way these boys are raised and how the way they're raised is leading to them not becoming men, because Michael McRae raised 2 other children who have coped with the loss of their mother and did not go violent. No, it happens when these boys are raised with a too close attachment to their mothers, and when they get that too close attachment to their mothers, this is what leads to those boys becoming men in crisis. And again, I can't really fault Michael McRae, the father, in this case, because I believe what he did is he wanted to cut these apron strings for his son, but his mother possibly kept getting in the way, and that's what led to this boy sadly becoming codependent. And with him becoming a codependent mama's boy, he basically did not know how to navigate life in this world. He did not know how to set a course on his own, and as he stayed home with his parents, he never got any sort of sense of understanding that you need to set a boundary between yourself and your mother. Yes, you love your mother. Yes, you are close to your mother, but you understand that one day you're going to have to go out here and be on your own. And if you want to be on your own and you want to follow the Bible like Anthony McRae said he wanted to, you will want to follow the commandment that says, honor thy mother and thy father. And part of honoring your mother and your father is honoring them even after death. And honoring them after death means that even if they pass from this world, you're going to show an example of Christ to the world that they taught you, and you're going to show an example of Christ to the world so that you can honor everything that your mother and father taught you. That is what a man goes out here and does. And yes, a man is going to have those feelings of grief. A man is going to have those feelings of pain as related to his mother passing away. But a man is going to understand that if he wants to honor the memory of his mother, he's going to want to go out here and live the best life he can, show that best example of Christ that he can, and not be angry because if your mother leaves this world, you understand that God has her in a better place where she is no longer suffering, where she is in perfect peace with the Lord. These are things that a man who follows God understands, and he tries not to get bitter about it, because he knows if he has faith in the Most High and the Messiah, he will be back with his mother at the time of his passing. So this is something a person of faith would understand about death as related to things, but it seems like Anthony McRae didn't understand these things, and as he didn't understand these things, he wound up on a dark road, and as he wound up on a dark road, he was out here just not able to deal with things, because a lot of people, they don't understand that when you're dealing with men in crisis, they need a special kind of counseling, because when you're dealing with a beta males do not know how to live in our real world where we have to deal with loss, failure, and pain. They don't know how to deal with this because they live in a rose-colored reality where their whole life revolves around their mother or other women, and they don't live in a world of men, and that's where they need a special kind of counseling. And again, Michael McRae, I commend him for going out here. He was trying to help his son because he had been married to this woman for 45 years, and even he was able to say, look, I love my wife, but I know my wife is suffering, and I know that she's going to be in a better place if she passes. Yes, I'm hurt that she's gone, but I know that I have to go on. Again, the father was a man, but sadly, you can have a beta male, a man in crisis, even in a home with a father, because when you're dealing with beta males, again, these men have a completely distorted picture of reality, and that picture of reality is one that's hard to break, because a lot of these guys, they want to, if they can't live in their world, what they look to do is destroy the world around them. And sadly, that's what's happened here. And as the situation goes on, sadly, most people don't see that this is another incident in America's man crisis. And what's happening here in America is we refuse to acknowledge the man crisis in this country. We refuse to acknowledge the way we're raising boys to become men is making them dysfunctional. We refuse to understand that a boy needs to learn how to go out on his own. He needs to know how to cut boundaries between himself and his mother. He needs to know that he has to let go of his mother to become his own man, because if he doesn't let go of his mother to become his own man, he eventually will grow up to become a man in crisis. Now, if you want to learn more about what makes beta males wind up becoming men in crisis and participating in acts of violence like this and other dysfunctional behaviors, you can pick up my book, The Man Crisis, on Amazon.com in paperback and Kindle format. You can also find The Man Crisis at other online booksellers like Smashwords, the iBookstore, Google Play, Barnes & Noble, and even stores like Walmart and Target. And if you want to see me make more men's issues videos like this, you can donate to my Patreon, my PayPal, or my Cash App by clicking the links in the description box. That's all I have to say for this video. You can comment, rate, and subscribe. Now available in paperback. From the author of the critically acclaimed book, The Man Crisis, comes The Woman Crisis. Learn why so many women have become lost in their quest to have it all in The Woman Crisis. Get your copy of The Woman Crisis in paperback at Amazon.com and online booksellers today.